Okay, we're live.
Great. Okay, hello world. Podler team here again for another session for the weekly Celebrity Mojo quiz reading used for proof of concept, what we're doing out here. It's going well as always, and this is another session, and we're being brave. Here we go. Boom, boom. So, status report.
Introduce ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Naiji coach here.
I'm Jaili.
Zai Niadinas.
Naiji Mitchell.
Naiji Ben.
And Naiji Glenn.
All right, we're missing our Nijai.
Yeah.
All good.
He's en route.
He's en route. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and do the nuggets. I'll start off with talking something that Demas mentioned for, I think it was Seeker of Self-Discovery, but it's really good for anyone, about how you can, actually I think we were talking about this about in Naiji Temple as well, guys, about later in the day you can do some more passive things that still get flags forward if you know, like all the people's mojo in a certain show or something like that. You can just sort of drink that in. It's a really good way to get some flags forward without exerting as much effort as like a raw read. So we actually play a game now. It's kind of fun. Is basically one of us will pick like a movie or a TV show, and then they'll go to like a movie database, and then they'll ask the other people about the character's name. From there, we try to guess their mojo. If we don't know by the character's name, we'll say the actor's or actress's name. If that doesn't do it, then we'll show a picture. We'll go Google a picture and see if they can do it from there. And so it's fun, it's easy, it's a nice way to kill time. So whenever we're kind of out and about and just killing time, it's something that we like to do. It's fun, easy, but it keeps actually the muscles fresh and does actually keep leveling you up at a nice little incremental rate. Cool. Go ahead, Nuggets. Charlene, do you give us?
Yeah, so just something that is a mojo reading tip and also relevant to our situation recently. You know, as most of you guys know, we were moving Podler Central to a different location. We're now there, but in the meantime, it was about a week or so of transition. And during that period, even though we had access to the internet through other locations, it was really hard to focus and concentrate and do and have the ideal situation for doing mojo reading. Because we didn't have like our lab and really noticed the difference when we transitioned to this place and set everything up, got everything finally set. Then it was like watching the same interviews, but having a location that's ideal, that's distraction free, that is that is your spot to do the mojo reading, really made a huge difference for the clarity of our lens to do readings. So that really stressed the importance of having if at all possible, like your own lab location where you can do mojo readings uninterrupted, distraction-free, and set up ideally in the way that your apparatus works.
And you have to do it like mobily, like say you have to like go to coffee shops, things like that. We do that sometimes as well.
We have.
Interesting enough is actually going to coffee shops or things like that was easier than doing it initially in the new apartment. The transition period where there's like stuff everywhere and you're getting used to it and you don't know what's going on, that really threw things off, actually more than like, because we go to different coffee shops, we basically go in, set the laptop up, connect to the internet, order our drinks, and you do it. And so in that case, like I would say like the coffee shops are kind of like a nice secondary lab. And it's good that we had that when like the main lab was in disarray. It was actually quite challenging to kind of like get focused in that way. So yeah, I'd say that whatever you can do is try to actually get to where you can stabilize it as an environment before you get to the reading. Because reading while you're still stabilizing or unable to stabilize actually kind of makes it much more challenging. It can really mess with your confidence.
Yeah.
All right, and my tip for the day has to do with think this is mainly going to come into play when you've at least gotten to the point where, maybe through 5th or 4th year, that you're able to narrow whatever sample you're looking at down to a fairly tight social alchemy, maybe 4, maybe even some odd number like 5. You can think of what you're doing when you're Mojo reading in general is basically you're trying to come up with the strongest explanation for what is right in front of you. A person's energy just plop is right in front of you, and now you're trying to come up with an explanation for not just their Mojo, but their Rith, the state of mind they're in, the mood they're in, the social alchemy kind of dynamics that are happening around them. And that's why it's good to not be afraid to, not only not be afraid, but actively project possible alternate answers onto the person you're reading as a way to falsify them. So kind of like you're doing null hypotheses, where you're looking, let's say, at a person, you say, okay, this is a gatherer of some kind, where you might be leaning on a certain direction. Maybe you're leaning on Nijai or Jez gatherer in particular, but to actually take some time to look at this and say, okay, this is a Nizai, and just kind of project that onto that person, and then see how your apparatus responds to looking at that sample from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
When you do, then you'll actually feel certain. You'll kind of ping off that sample, and almost as if you're dialoguing with it, what the sample says back to you, how it feels about you projecting that onto it. Even if you're just asking yourself, like, is this a Naiji? Just asking that question causes a response in your apparatus to bounce back. And so it's kind of important, I say it's important to not be afraid to kind of project these things on it, just because there could be a sort of fear to detach from whatever answer you're already leaning on in order to kind of search other possibilities. Although, if it is the right answer, you got to be okay with kind of letting it go, looking somewhere else, because if it was right all along, you have to trust that you'll eventually come back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to, yeah.
That's gold.
Yeah.
Before we move on, and I'll let Mitchell go as well here, I'll just something that came to me when Demas was saying that strongly is that this highlights what a seeker discipline Mojo reading is, because what he's talking about right there is something that you need to do as a seeker in anything you do. It's something we challenge people from other models, from other cultures that really are stuck in their way. They don't really have a reason for doing that other than they just done it a long time. People know them for that. It would be awkward to switch. And so this practice of dealing with the awkwardness of, I think it's probably a Nijai, but what if it's this? Let me actually speculate. Let me actually think about a what if. Let's say it's a Vijay, which means you had to step away from the one that you were thinking about and like sort of do like a semi-tryout in this other way. And like Demas was saying, it can feel weird stepping away from that, but you have to have confidence. This, the seeker, the way the seeker demands this is whatever you think the truth is, you should always be willing to drop what you think it is, no matter how deeply you believe it, and have faith that truth will always be there. And so if you walk away and circle back around, you can just pick truth up again. It'll always be there for you to look at it. So getting overly committed to one way of thinking about it is a trap. And Mojo reading, you actually have to get past that all the time, otherwise you'll get stuck. Because you sort of have like some commitment in your psyche to a certain answer, and it almost feels like very arduous, uncomfortable, laborious to like drop that, go out a new direction, actually really give it a go, on the chance that it might give something, or you might have to go back to the truth. But the truth should still be there. You should never lose faith that, like, if you thought it was a Nijai and then you went somewhere else, if you circle around and realize that doesn't feel like it's it, if you go back to it, it's not like it's going to shift its answer while you were gone. Your truth will still be there. And so this is something that I think everyone who's a seeker in any way, you have to be willing to take what you think you know and go, what if that's not it? What if that's not it? What if it's something completely else? If it is, in fact, what you thought it was, it's not like that. Truth won't feel like you didn't do the right thing. No, truth wants you to actually try out new stuff to make sure you can get the best idea of truth. So I like that Demas brought that up because that's a practice that mode reading requires, and any seeker will have to do that on a regular basis. Mitchell?
Yeah, I was just saying, just based on what Demus was saying, I really agree with that. Just the practice of trying to project different answers onto the samples while you're reading them, and just seeing kind of how it how it seems to fit with that after you do all the detaching, like you were talking about. Almost.
It does seem like they speak back to you sometimes.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, like what I was thinking.
It's like, are you a Vijay? And you hear them say, no, I'm not a Vijay.
Yeah, like it almost reminds me of like spirit forming a little bit, like the way that works, like how you'll dialogue with autonomous entities in your psyche, but this time it's a sample, and it's more like how you're responding to that sample within your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, excellent. All right, let's go and get started then, unless there's anything else.
I'll go ahead and print out Emil's answers.
Oh, okay,
And,
you
I
answer.
think
He can't come?
We haven't heard from you yet.
we haven't heard from him. And sent him another invite, and I haven't. We sent him a couple of notes.
Yeah. Well, he's got
The original one, it actually said that he was watching. You have to click on that in order to watch it. It doesn't just send you there automatically.
Do you have access to him, Mitchell?
Spectator. No, I just noticed when I went on the page of the Hangout. The Hangout has like a Google page when you create it, and you'll see who's not just who's in the Hangout. That's one thing, but then who's spectators. You even be. Oh, hang on. Never mind. He actually just sent me a message
Oh.
minutes ago saying that his webcam's a bit clunky.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get that.
Well, I mean, he could just show his, like, I don't know. He doesn't necessarily have to show his.
So you're right. So he probably just
video.
clicked that he's watching it, like he's online right now, but his webcam's not working. We can just move on.
All right. You have the answer, right?
This one?
Yeah.
Emails.
All right. Any more of that, printing?
How about Infinity?
Infinity, he's he
In
had
transit.
an appointment in transit. He had an appointment, so
All right, so,
he'll be running late.
so what is the first one?
Okay, first one is Dave Berry.
What do you have?
I said Nijai.
I said Ninjai.
I said Nijan.
I said Nijai.
Infinity said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
Cool.
And Emil said Naishi.
Nijai?
What's the answer?
It's Nijai, that's the author, right?
Yeah.
It's Nijai, yes.
Okay. Cool. So, 2, 5.
I think. Wait, did you say Amy was the only one that said?
Yeah. 6.
You said Naiji. So that's still really good.
Yeah, as he was tracking.
What was the answer? 6
Yeah, 6 out of 7.
Okay.
Next, Chris Bach, director of Frozen. I said Jaini.
I said Naishi. No, I'm sorry, Nijai. Nijai.
Oh, I said Naiji.
I said Nijai.
Infinity said Naiji.
I said Jaini.
It is shiny.
Okay, and Emil said Naisi.
2. 2 out of 7.
Yeah.
Changed him last second.
Who's next?
Next is Linda Lee Caldwell.
Okay, that was toughy. That was a toughie.
I said.
I said Nijai.
I said Nisha.
I said Nijai.
Infinity said Nijai.
Nijai.
And Emil said Bijai.
Nobody got it, but Emil got the closest. This is a toughie. I had to really look at this one, but I believe that Bruce Lee pulled an Eminem. I believe she's Vizai.
Oh, interesting. I was.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I considered some other ones.
Told him that.
She has a lot of games.
She does. I had to look at that one and look at that one and look at that one. I was like, what is this?
Wow.
Okay, interesting.
You want to give it to me on the good game thing?
Yeah.
She reminded me actually, she's got the B-side like a politician.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because she was
Yeah, she did. She had more of like the elegant B-side riff.
I like that. pull the Eminem.
No, I was like,
Eminem and what's the bounty hunter guy?
Who's next?
Misty Copeland, and I said Vijay for her.
Jaibi.
I said Nijaim.
I said Vijay.
And Infinity said Jinai.
I said Nijai.
And Emil said Vijay.
It's Nijai. And Tom was close as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I said Jinai, not wrong. Yeah. So it's 4.
Nice. That's a great team. Who's next?
Um,
Don't feel bad. That led to Lee Cadwell. That was a toughie. When I saw them come, I was like, oh, I feel almost guilty, but it is what it is.
Because you knew it was like you would think it would be.
I knew. I was like, if anyone gets that, I'm super impressed.
Okay, Barbara Crampton. I said Zai for her.
I said Jaibi.
I said Vijay.
The shitty internet in my dorms prevented me from finishing my quiz.
No worries.
Okay, yeah.
I
Sorry,
just realized the internet over here is way better than in my dorms. Like,
So you might use it there.
it was so slow that it took like 5 minutes to load a page, and I allocated like 2 hours. Like I thought that would be enough time, but it wasn't because of that.
It happens.
Bummer, it happens.
We know your truth.
That was
Come on, strong next week.
Yeah.
Who's up?
Infinity said Nijai.
And
I said Nizai.
Emil said Nizai.
it is Nizai. How many got that?
I said it. Emil, Glenn, and Mitchell. Okay.
no, I didn't say Nizai.
Okay. Okay. So it's 3.
3.
3 out of 7. What did you say?
I said Jaibi.
Okay. Next is Olivia
Plasticia.
Rosicia. Good. Good.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I said Nijai.
I said Vijay.
Oh, I said Nijaim.
Who else?
Oh, sorry.
Infinity.
Said Nijai.
Nijai for me.
And Emil said Vijay.
Okay, well, definitely take a look at this one. I got Nizai off her.
Okay.
So probably,
Oh.
I don't do too many tonight because I actually have several viewer requests that we want to do live tonight. But let's definitely do Linda Lee Cadwell, and let's do.
Did somebody say Nizai for her?
I don't think anyone
I
did.
don't think anyone.
So we'll review her. Okay, next.
Maria Grazia Cucinosa, and I said Zaini for her.
I said Zaini.
I said Nizaim.
And then Infinity said Naiji.
Nizai.
Emil said Zaini.
Okay, she might want to look at it as well. Infinity got it. Naiji, I believe.
Interesting.
She was tricky. She had this real chiseled look.
Yeah,
I
she
can
does.
see I
yeah.
can see the answer for sure. So that might be good to take a look at. Who else is next?
Okay, so Catherine Cunningham, I said Zaini.
I said Nizai.
I said Vijay.
Infinity said Nijai.
Nijai for me too.
Emil said Zaini.
What's she look like? This person.
This looks like Catherine. It's like her.
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 Okay, I believe this is a Naiji.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
I think. I
Really?
believe so. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
looks so timid.
She was tough.
She's tough. So star her as well.
Okay.
Who else? Who's next?
Okay, Brienne
Brianna Cuoco.
Coco, I said Nijai for her.
I said Nijai.
I said Nijaim.
Infinity said Nijai.
I didn't even need to think on this one. I said Nijai.
Glenn, bad Glenn. What if it bucked the trend?
I didn't even
Yeah, I
need to
know.
think on this.
Got
It is Nijai.
What was Nijai?
And actually, Emil said Bijai.
Okay.
6 and 7.
Okay, 6 out of 7.
And the last one,
Okay.
Brittany Curran.
Brittany Curran said Nijai.
I said Nijai.
Oh, I said Bijai.
Infinity said Nijai.
Nijai.
Emil said Nijai.
That is an easy shot. 5 and 7. Nice. Guys are kicking butt this week. Excellent.
Noise.
Alrighty, so we have like 3 to take a look at.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Let's just go ahead and look at those. Alright.
Okay.
So go ahead and do it.
Windows.
D. See it now that you know what it is.
Okay. So then, first one would be Linda Lee Caldwell.
You guys basically like to do group reading, except in this case you already know what it is, so you're trying to highlight that.
I think her name is Cadwell.
Cadwell.
Do you have a link? I thought the link page.
I have the link pages, and I'm. Send you the link, Glenn.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, she was confusing me because giving me confused signals because I thought I was seeing G, but I couldn't like hone in, like it didn't make sense in my head, like that she was a Nizai. And I guess I had my mind closed off to the possibility that she was a Bizai.
Wonderful that she was from all over Asia.
Also, I'm not all that familiar with like politicians' wives who are Bizai. But yeah, for
You know, there are a lot of people.
yeah, that does seem more articulation.
The cheeks don't move.
Yeah.
Is it movement? The movement, guys, the head? That's shimmy, not bobble. See? It's got that adaptiveness side to side, but it's not bobbly, it's crisper.
If you could say something back to the Asian movement about how you feel right now, what would you say?
I'm exhilarated, and I want to thank
What's that?
Let's go turn. See if it's interesting and hand off the views.
Well, I'm seeing the G that jumps out. Even though her cheeks are chiseled, I see now that her emotiveness does not go up above the midline. It has that sort of that how do we call it? Rhombozoid.
Yeah.
In this area here, that it's like
Very expressive,
sheer,
but
but
contained.
yeah, but contained. Yeah.
Essentially, she's got the Cheshire Cat, but it's a very elegant kind of version of the Cheshire.
Yeah, and she's more, which also was confusing me, was she has a more earthy signal, like more feral, I think, because of the V and the Ni. But I actually pondered Naiji for a while, but that didn't reconcile because she wasn't, it just didn't fit. She looked gathered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pondered Naiji a little bit too when I looked at her.
But yeah.
How
about you?
Yeah, it's hindsight's definitely
I don't
20/20 on
think
her.
And even you can take control of the mouse on her
Oh.
video while you talk.
Where is the video? Yeah, with her, I was having trouble making connect, making connect. I was getting gather off of her, and then I think I wanted to kind of force that to be Nijai, but like it. I think I was just kind of lazy on her, like just because I was having trouble just making sense of her signals in general. But yeah, it didn't really click. It's very clear now because like you can see like definitely sheer cheeks. Yeah, eyes have the laser eye quality too. That drinking in, it's an amped drinking in, not the.
Yeah.
I am now, right?
Yeah, I think.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
something else to say, and then move on. Did one of you have something you were to say?
I think Ben wanted to talk.
Ben, were you seeing something?
Oh, It wasn't I just said like the shot we were on I think emphasized like the shoe sheets and all that, but like that's in retrospect. That happened like
Here, can you see on that? Oh, that freeze
a
frame.
few seconds ago.
Can you guys see in this freeze frame here? That's a good one.
I can see in this freeze frame as well. I was actually referring to a different one, but
Oh yeah. I was referring to another cue. I was like the eyes here. She actually has a good amount of nigh, but they are still gatherer, and they have that sheen to them. I don't know what it's called. It's opposed to the dancing of knee. It's a little more clear eye. The V alpha have laser, but as far as like what does that mean? It sometimes seems like slightly clear. They're both bright, but the V
But it's
seems
more
clear.
focused.
Yeah.
It's more linear, I guess. Like you can see it. Yeah.
Seems more present.
Seems more present. Yeah.
And there is kind of like what Glenn was saying. I think it was Glenn about the globularness of the knee Gumby versus the V fleshy. Will you say something about that? That the knee had a more globular, the Gumby was more globular.
Popular. I don't know if I.
But anyway, the eyes that has as well is that there's slightly a bit more of a dreamy quality, like a little like not. It's like present, but a little delirious looking in a good way. For me, obviously, is the knee. But here it looks more like clear.
Yeah.
It makes sense in a way. They're both sort of present, but the knee kind of almost gives them a look like they're a little bit intoxicated with ideas.
Yeah.
They're somehow they look more clear-eyed.
Well, it's more of it is more dreamy. So like a more like dreaming in real time.
Right.
It's
So
literally more like reality. It's more grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eyes just seem a little clearer, and that they don't wiggle as much. There's
that vibratory quality to the knee eyes.
Yeah, it's not there.
Yeah, and to their eyes, really to everything, to their eyes, to their movement, to their voice. He doesn't have.
Yeah.
Speaking of the voice, I was just listening to her now on the video, and she has that kind of that V voice I don't know, like nasally.
Earthy nasally.
I mean, you were able to hear, right? She sounded.
Yeah, I gave it a little bit of a slinky. So it was like earthy, nasally, slinky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's something about it that kind of reminded me of like a politician's wife, the way her voice sounded. It didn't sound like a Nijai, and I didn't know why I was noticing it, but I wasn't really fully consciously aware of it at the time, and I kind of wanted to make the Nijez couple kind of
Happen.
I wanted to go
I
for
was
that.
struggling with that for a while myself.
I was thinking like Jai Ni, but then noticed that didn't quite work, so then immediately it went to Nijai. And then I even played around with Naiji a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I was like, it doesn't really quite work for the Naiji or the Jaini, but I do see Gatherer.
Yeah. What got me was I actually kind of got the right answer right away, but then had to go in a loop to like convince myself. It came on. The first thing I thought was like, this is weird. She reminds me of like one of the Bush ladies. Like the older Barb one. She looks at it and I was like, no, that can't be right. So I sat there for a while trying to make this person be a Nijai. Like, it's a Nijai, I'm sure, but I just couldn't see it. And then I'm like, those eyes look really feral. Okay, maybe Bruce Lee hooked up with a Naiji. That could make sense too. And then I was like, no, it's a Gatherer. And then I was like, okay. It's one of those things, like, I actually saw it right away, but you have to, like, tell yourself, like, that's the right answer, because your mind, like, knowing, like, that's unlikely, doesn't happen too often, things like that, it's like, your brain, like, doesn't want,
who it is.
you're scared. Yeah. You're scareder of that probability than you are of the data, but I just kept looking, like, nope, that's a B-side. All right, that's just weird. Cool.
Yeah. And you could see pictures of them together. So she just didn't really look like a Nai. She was next to one in pictures all the time. They just weren't giving off the same signals. They are in a way, but that's kind of what eliminated that for me.
Yeah, and
I was just seeing Gatherer.
Yeah, and also like the fact that, you know, like how you said, like, pulled an M&M, but, like, if it were, but the thing I think that threw me off is, like, she wasn't like the riff of Eminem's wife, who's, like, you know, like, more, how do you explain?
Street visa.
More street visa, yeah. That would have, she was, like, stately, and that really, like,
exactly. That's a great way of saying it.
my mind didn't want to accept that, you know, she was like a Bush, you know, like.
Bruce Lee is dating a Barbara Bush.
Or married and had children with my partner. So that's.
Breaking Mojo journalism story. Bruce Lee has married a Bush. All right. So we should move on, though. That was fun.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Next, Olivia.
And what is she?
He said Nizai.
And everyone guessed what Nijai is?
Nijai, yeah, just because she has like these really round cheeks.
Let me
and
see.
I thought I was seeing
It's always good to check my work.
But I was seeing she was being paired a lot with Naizi, and I was like thinking, that's interesting, like seeing her paired in movies with a lot of Naizi, like as dads and like love interests. So I did ponder Nizai, but then I. Yeah, I do.
I think most of us went Nijai, right?
Yeah, I think everybody did.
No, I went Nijai.
Oh, okay.
Well, you already tried.
Yeah, you went
You were closer than the rest of us.
Okay. Here we go.
She's not going to say that last name again, and I can't even remember it. But Olivia is her first name. She's a great actress. With a great actor, Rescue Me. Dennis Leary is the great actor I'm talking about. You play his daughter.
I do.
He's a funny dude.
He's very funny.
But he's also like a very sensitive, spiritual person, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know. You never show that side around me.
She's a little bit like a chubby Taylor Swift.
That's interesting. Kind of chubby. The dormer now that I'm looking at it like this.
Yeah. At first I was going in the direction of who's that actress who played like recently with like Sandra Bullock as the she's always like plays like either like white trash character, one from Bridesmaids. I was going with her, but.
You said upper lip the way it has more energy in it?
Yeah, it does.
That show's over. Well, then where are we going
That
now?
was throwing me off.
Oh, you know what she was given too? I think she's Nizai as well. Is Gilly Nizai?
Yeah.
She gives me Gilly, the actress that plays Gilly from Game of Thrones. She sounds like her too. You guys know who that is? Go do a Google search on Game of Thrones Gilly. That actress I believe is a Nizai, and I'm getting a fourth gear riff.
Oh, that girl! Wow, yeah, that's true. I was actually going more towards like Henry Lawson and someone else.
I know who that is. I didn't even know her name, but I know who that is.
Oh, I wrote down in the notes here.
Fourth gear riff helped me with her, because you're right, she does a lot of emoting. But fourth gear helped me with her, and fourth gear is what helped me with Linda Lee Cadwell also.
She does a lot of emoting in this very kind of like neat, what's the word? Oh gosh, I hate when that happens. And like this sort of meek, affable way.
Yeah, very affable.
So like you can see, oh, she's values based, but not really.
She seems,
Macking?
She seems like she's.
Yeah, macking, but it's like it's not even like super like.
No, she has
tense. It's like it has this really laid back sort of almost
casual, fun, sweet, but she was macking. Keep watching. This is a young Nizai getting her macking skills on.
Yeah.
See, she's eyeballing. That's knee, and she's got G going. She's on.
Yeah.
How old are you?
She seems like her eyes look a little bit tired, and I thought that was like drowsiness from the shy, but it's actually more like the Zai listlessness quality.
The drowsiness of the eyes. Yeah, and some Niafa can have more of that like sleepy
Yeah, like they have like a sort of board.
Does come from the Tau power?
Not only, but that does influence it. It's kind of,
Yeah.
a lot of it gives it a bit of the gauzy quality that the Nez towers have. Not exactly like it, but a
Yeah.
bit of it.
And that's interesting that it happens with her though, because she's not necessarily like very side heavy. Like she has a lot of emoting, affable emoting.
No, but
throughout.
the laid backness.
Laid back, yeah.
Is
Reside.
that restraining?
But it's
Yeah,
sort of-
like when G gets really going, it's really even with adserves, it's not really laid back. I mean, it's a very directive power.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of lace it with Xi to make it do that.
We have fruit farts here, sour farts, and I saw you
That
kind
smile.
of looking around, kind of intrigued. The name threw you off, right? You're like farts, and you're like, this is lettuce,
We're damn.
but really tasty.
Yeah.
You don't trust me, do you?
No.
Right? No, we'll get on over there and have stuff. But do you like soda?
I love soda.
You like pineapple? You like cherry?
Pineapple. It's good.
Really?
That was a Ni and G bobble jet.
Say something.
What time was that?
It was at right before 2 minutes.
Yashi.
Let that go, okay? All right, good, cool. I'm back, and here's your pineapple.
Okay.
Here's your
Did you see how she came on nervous there? Her nervous and how she held her G? It reminded me of Taylor Swift when Kanye West came on stage.
Oh yeah, that's Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen,
She-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's doing well
I
here.
can totally see Taylor Momsen a little bit.
What's that?
I can totally see like Taylor Momsen a little bit there.
Taylor Momsen, I think Momsen is.
Momsen is Nijai actually.
Or not, Taylor Swift.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a little more fleshy in the cheek area, but being younger than so.
Yeah, you could
I
definitely
think
see
Taylor Swift was younger. She was a little, a little baby fat more in the cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. One more? Is there one more? This is one.
Yeah.
This I think is one that's an IG. I think it's an IG, but a lot of you thought it was Zini.
Zini or Zai, yeah.
Nijai.
That's one
Catherine Cunningham.
very long time.
Yeah, because she was so chiseled, I considered Naiji at first,
Yeah.
but I quickly went to Zaini. Actually,
I considered Zini too. She had kind of a towery look. She had a long face.
yeah, long face.
But I saw perceptionally with her.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
her eyes were always.
Yeah,
like
she
her
was-
eyes,
I guess Ni's eye.
and her eyes
But
seemed really like big. I guess.
Yeah.
That threw me off too, because I was thinking.
Well,
Now that some of them are like that. What gets me through them?
Mm.
Satin burrows.
Oh yeah.
She's a long face, very angular. The eyes are big and liquidy.
Mm.
That's a huntress.
Interesting.
Let's see what this one looks like.
Already known in front of the camera, the Italian actress.
Hold on, let me give you the lead one.
Originally from Sicily, Maria Grazia Cucinotta now lives and works in Los Angeles.
Oh, we're doing Maria.
What's that, Glenn?
I thought we were gonna do Catherine Cunningham. They were both Naiji, and they were both ones that I got wrong. But yeah.
Is it Captain Cunningham?
No, this is Maria Grass, but she's also a Naiji.
But how do you miss her?
I mentioned I think a lot. Everyone, yeah.
Except for Infinity.
Except for Infinity, that's right.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go put whichever is the lowest one. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Cool.
Was when I was at the Oscars for the film Il Postino.
Seems to be Catherine.
For the first time I felt not only proud, but also happy to be
Is it
Italian.
Captain Cunningham the one with missed the most?
Yes.
That's
I
what we want.
realised the
Captain
world
Cunningham.
She
loves
doesn't
Italy.
have very much footage.
Ah,
Everything
okay.
that says made in
Then-
Italy.
So I think that would be a
That culture
That I didn't know that
into
was,
poetry.
that was not given down.
And for the Americans, all that is summed up in my image.
She seriously reminded me of Sofia Vergara. I was tracking.
Yeah,
Those hands are wizard.
Go back.
There,
You could see the V too in her eyes.
the V and the hand, the tension the wrist.
I
Right
thought
about
I
it.
misinterpreted that for sort of Gumby,
Yeah.
No.
but
I just aren't. They're not dancing.
Too much tension in the hands.
Oh, and that wouldn't be Gumby anyways, because I said Ziny. Never mind.
Yeah.
Good for spidery then?
Yeah.
But they're not. Yeah, they're definitely not.
Too much tension for a tower. And now let's look at her cheeks, because they're chiseled, but let's see how high the G goes.
You
Okay.
can see the G puckering.
Looks like Infinity's here.
Oh, hey, Petey!
Hey, how are you? I made it.
Go, go, go.
Infinity.
Happy to be back. We're going over some of the
Yes.
the popular ones that got misread on the quiz. We're doing the last one. You got here just in time for the live reading.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
All right, so go ahead.
Era tutto racchiuso per loro
Tension of
nella
hands.
mia immagine.
Ma c'è qualcosa che la imbarazza?
Is
there anything
about Italy that bothers you?
Mi imbarazza il fatto che gli italiani non sappiano promuovere.
Oh wait, that started again?
The Italian election.
I don't know what happened there.
Gosh, I hate when I get.
So when I'm abroad, I hear bad things said about my country. The last 15 or
Guys, what's with Mojo?
papers have been full of it.
She's an IG.
Naiji,
Okay.
and she's doing
I got that one. Okay, good.
you were the few ones that got it.
You're the only one.
You're the only one that got it, Nidhi.
Gotcha.
We all get to ad serve.
Yeah.
She has this. She's doing the slinky jut. It's elegant, but she's actually jutting with momentum, and she's doing that slinky way that Nai does. There's no bobble here. Slinky.
One man Berlusconi
Those hands.
is targeted
Those are
across
wizard.
the country.
Pay attention. The hands are one of the big things that help me get over with her.
There are those who get up early to
And then
work
here,
hard
on the
and
jutting, when she gets going, that smile goes up, and she juts with momentum.
Let's talk about
And
the
a slinky.
differences between Italy and the U.S. as far as work and production is concerned. You've lived there for
Yeah, that's
8
high.
years and have
That's what I'm
produced
high.
films.
È completamente diverso.
E sai che it's quite different. Those who
Do
make
you see the
it
energy here in the
really are
jutting?
those
She
who
got
serve
when
it.
she jutted there, those little juts. You could see her energy coming up.
It's everybody's dream. You pay for what you're worth, for what you've done. If that doesn't happen, it's disappointing. So Italy should become a much more meritocratic country and learn how to work together.
Facciamo un passo indietro. Lei ha iniziato.
Also, have you noticed that she's had a hunter hunch on most of the time, and her head, although it's elegant, is actually out in a semi-jut most of the time as well.
La moda è la protagonista assoluta.
Fashion is our best ambassador. We're known throughout the world.
She's very comfortable in that chin forward.
And the Made in Italy label.
Fashion made in Italy.
And she does that thing that they do as well, where she has her chin out, and then she does little juts while being out.
The Italian masters were a point of reference for everyone in cinema. Unfortunately, our films are not distributed well. In the past, our films went everywhere in the world, making our stars known. Nowadays, that rarely happens.
One that's tricky here, I remember when I was doing this read, besides her chiseled cheekbones and her elegant gain, is the fact that you're getting a voiceover from someone else. That voiceover, I don't think might be an IG, and so that actually can really throw things off.
Yeah,
I kinda
that
don't-
really does.
In fact, I think I mostly looked at other.
I mean, because like.
Because I can't even like read with that. So
Yeah, do that, and then we'll get going by 6:30.
Because you may think that you're like you're reading like their face, and really like part of you is reading the voice that you're hearing as well. So that's
good point. You can't help it. It's going to get in there.
So I mean, it's just like how like distractions around you can get to you. I mean, if even part of your headspace is on that can really mess up.
It's just distracting.
Your read. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Let's see, there's another one that.
This one's in English.
Cool.
I know you are both an actress. We know you've performed like
Okay, she's locked on. She's locked on
many
here.
more besides, but you're a producer as well. How do you marry those two
Knee
professions?
eyes do not lock on like
It's
that.
very, very easy. You kill the actress and you come out with the producer.
Notice she got going. It didn't get bobbly. It got slinky with a bit of V.
Because it's easy. Because you are sure about the success.
What makes Tulpa, the film that he's here,
See the hunch and the chin out, elegant but forward.
You will see the difference, and I'm curious to see the audience reaction because this is
Actually, her voice, And it's just the accent that reminds me of George St. Pierre, like the sound of her accent. It's like,
Oh, you so you're in the shot? Oh, you're in the shot.
Oh, no. Yes, a grace and speed.
Yeah, she's
So he
definitely
knows very, very
slinky.
well.
There. Look at that. Look at those hands. Oh, there's the claw. That's tension, and she's doing that dot.
Make you feel.
Ah.
So you will see.
Elegant huntress right there.
What you most about the film when you
Oh, and the way the hair, it's so different from the other Knee Mojo ladies. The way the Nai Ji and the Ji Nai, they do their hair.
Very good when I read the script, and I felt very, very scared when I saw the film. With the particular moments in the film that stood out for you, that really scared you.
It's a good game.
You know, they think that everything is so real that
There's a Nai dress.
And she Nai drifts quite regularly as well.
yeah,
Cool.
nice.
Alrighty, we're gonna do some live reads now, and we chose 5 requests. So,
Yeah.
hold up, Charlene.
Okay, here we go. Let's go to first one is Rafi Kavukian, who's an Egyptian-born Canadian singer-songwriter. I think Infinity requested this one.
Oh, yes. Yes. Children's.
Let me go ahead and load this up. Fun. Here's
My daughter loves his music. That's all I can tell you.
Thanks, Charlie.
That's 105.
yeah. Okay, here he is on Strum.
Begin, right? Right. Welcome to the show. I love that, man. How you been? Thanks. Cheers, man. Thanks. We're very comfortable. I'm great. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gigging again. Oh, nice. 10 years. What's it like to get back on the road? Great. I'm tall in the saddle. I can do it. You know, shows are going well. You're not just a chosen entertainer, but a lot of what you've done has had a message. And then the world we live in part, is due to the behavior of the Beluga grads. Are you happy with what they've done with the world? We've got so much to do to make this world of ours, to pull it back from the brink of climate threat. We've got so many crises sinking us failures, you know. But within all that, we have bright lights everywhere, like yourself and others, who care passionately. And we need a prime minister who respects climate science, for example. You know what I'm saying? I hear you. 100%. But I will say this, and I have no need or desire to defend this prime minister on his environmental record. It's not strong. But the prime ministers that agreed to Kyoto from another party didn't ratify. So at least this guy's living up to his word. But this guy's talked to the game and didn't know that. Well, we Beluga grads, and I include myself in that constituency. We've got to step up. We've got to bring our voices up. And I wrote a Beluga.
How's it hitting you guys? You don't have to give me cues or anything, just in story form.
I guess I'm struck by his, I don't know, something about him is making me feel buoyant. Like he has like this, like, cheeriness, but it's not going into his eyes.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
Sing with all your friends to hear you.
His mouth also, he does this pursing of the lip. It's not seeming much in me so far. I'm leaning to Jai right now.
Like I said, you don't have to give me this lots of cues. I was just asking for story. Do whatever you like.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I mean, the emoting seems interesting. I'm not quite sure it looks like is she emoting, but I don't know. I'm leaning a little bit more towards shy, but I'm not quite sure yet.
Shrek the movie came to me and said, "Hey, we want to make a Baby Buddha movie."
Yeah, but you were saying you think he's not really his alpha.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like I see.
I totally see what you're saying.
Like always seem like the most prominent thing that I'm seeing.
That's not right.
Yeah.
That's an enormous payday.
Like no matter how much he's emoting, yeah, like there it's big emoting, but his eyes are seem not affected by that.
Cheap toys and PVCs and all. Yeah, the revenue stream, blah blah blah. So we don't like that.
And I'm hearing a lot of that emoting in the voice too.
Oh,
but the
that.
The delivery is consistently dead now.
Yeah.
But On principle, I've been saying many things throughout my career. So, if there are any socially responsible investors out there listening in on this conversation, I have a 2-page draft of the Baby Beluga movie. Let's get together. Let's make this happen. So what do you market to the parents?
You guys think about the gesturing.
You bring
I haven't
He's
seen
just
much
doing
of-
some gesturing.
Yeah, I haven't seen
So when I make
much yet.
statements, you know,
Oh, well, he's been doing quite. He just did quite a bit, but I guess it was kind of quick.
that's what I'm saying. That's what evolved over the years.
Yeah, we should pay attention to that though.
Yeah, it's, from what I've seen, it's not hitting me, it's percussive.
Yeah, it seems has more viscosity. That I did notice. I didn't.
Parents need to educate their kids to be net savvy. It's very important. Parents need to also take the time to understand some of the kind of
Yeah, it
controls
seems
that
like
they're
he's
disposing of.
articulating
Other things,
deadpan, and then he has, you know, like emoting that comes in. But when it does come in, it goes into the cheeks, but it doesn't go into the eyes.
They're working.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean as well.
Yes.
Has this sort of
that's why some friends of mine out west,
sound to
community
it.
lists, co-wrote a letter to Sheryl Sandberg, the CEO of Facebook.
What's so interesting, he hasn't really gone
Systemic
inside a lot
remedies.
that I've seen him. He seems to be out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
Fine for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, like he's drinking in
It's family to figure out, well, how do we make it safe? There's a
interviewer.
light web and a
Oh, the
dark web.
hand.
How do we
Yeah,
make
the
use
hand
of the light
hasn't
web
like
while keeping the dark web
come
shallow?
out for custom.
Like, how about Gear 1? I mean, have you seen any, like, Nide
Seems
rips?
pretty approachable.
Mm-hmm. I
Say
don't.
that again, Nico?
I just say, like, how about, like, Gear 1? I mean, do you see, like, him doing any Nide rips? I don't think I've really seen that.
I haven't seen that.
I'm saying he couldn't, but
Yeah, let me put a different interview on.
definitely haven't seen it.
Yeah, good to get some
Cross-contextualize.
contextualization.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, here's the next one. Here he's on TED, so we'll be able to see, I think, more of the body movement, body language, full body language, which will be good for us.
He can be very soft-spoken, but then when he gets going, he really does get going, doesn't he? He can be pretty animated.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inflection in the voice too.
It's such a delight to be here with you.
Here we go.
We'll talk about the culture of respect and how we co-create that together. You Beluga grads, you are so sharp.
I wish you
live in
didn't
a
have
world
that,
where you have all
whatever
the
that
knowledge
he
you
has
need
on it in his
for
hand.
figuring stuff out.
I hope.
Connecting
Oh,
the
that
dots.
was the other hand.
You know, it's
I wish
really
he had like
precious
one
to
free hand. I hope you
how to ask the right
Let's have it.
questions, to elicit the right answers, taking the next right questions. I bow to you.
He has a calm, like a slight calmness to him. I don't know what that is. It's some sort of
My
compass
autobiography
power.
was
That's
published a few years ago.
yeah, tower power. That's
It began with the immortal lines from
Yes.
song Suzanne.
Yeah, very soothing.
yeah.
Right.
There are children in the morning.
I mean, he works in the same industry as Mr. Rogers.
Love,
You have to think about that also.
There you go.
while we hold the mirror. There are children in the morning. They are leaning out for love, and they will lean that way forever. The lines are profound because they're true.
There's something about the way, I don't know, I'm just getting an overall read on him. He seems, I don't know, his energy doesn't seem like, he kind of seems a little bit tired. I don't know.
I see
A little
like
bit of that.
I mean,
tired.
His eyes, they just seem like they're kind of a bit tired. I think that's just maybe some.
He's a very lulling energy
Yeah.
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 Totally.
in general.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like I'm reading it as like kind. It has a lot of.
I'm kind of thinking high.
Oh, it took me a second. See what you mean.
I get that too, though. Some people like when I'm in my Nihilot, like.
Yeah, no, seriously. I've got that.
He's like he's happy. You know?
He's too happy.
He ate something before he got on.
Good of love. Look, he's at like that's illuminating. Oh, that's like 2 minutes and at 2 minutes and 27 seconds of this interview here. Like he really emotes heavy, like giggling, and it's not going into his eyes. But that doesn't seem. It seemed more internal, resonating.
There's also this head tilt of purse that he's doing now right afterward.
Yes, to the right.
Yeah.
It seems warm, resonating.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me play that back a little bit.
Instant replay.
The lines of profound truth.
Yeah,
And I'm pretending today that I'm addressing the work as the adults that you are. And also the child essence.
Also the child
That's still there.
essence that's still there in me. Like it seems like it has an affectation.
Yeah. Like it's definitely a tower sound, but
yeah, I don't.
Sigh, yeah.
Yeah, I would be.
There
it
is
would be a
something
different
profound
riff
about the
if
child
it were.
Species.
Seemed
The
like
infant
warm
of every
resonation.
culture.
Yeah.
Whose heartbeat is the human heartbeat. The pulse.
I'm trying not to close. Okay, I think I'm. I feel Nijez. I don't want to close the door. I'm leaning towards Nijai, but I don't want to close the door. Too soon.
Yeah.
Mother tongue. Enculturation.
Right, that makes sense.
I don't really say it. No, I don't really think I'm closing the door, but I think I'm fairly confident.
Who, as John O'Donoghue said, come fresh from the eternal.
But then again, it kind of is to an extent because, like, I'm at the point where it's unlikely my guess is going to be the same.
Yeah, I just don't see where else to go with this.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah, because like you said, we weren't seeing the percussiveness. We're not seeing
directive. Yeah, I mean, like if you think of just adaptive, if you're saying we're seeing perception lead, I mean, he's not a V alpha.
Yeah.
Right. yeah. Wait, that.
So that leaves the D alpha.
And I'll tell you because I've seen this guy many times. I was always leaning towards one of the two Ni alphas.
Okay.
Either Nijai or Nizai.
I mean, are you seeing, as far as Nizai goes, I mean, are you seeing...
You're meant to just be like, what happens if I just project it onto a Nizai? And it's like,
I don't...
No, I still don't see a very good case for G.
Yeah, because he's emoting in the cheeks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Nizai seems like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like, that just leaves Nizai, unless you want to consider Naiji, but, like, are you? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not.
That kind of tensioning, that kind of percussiveness.
Yeah.
And
that kind of locked on. I mean, I don't know that's there.
Like the way he's doing this whole presentation seems to be more going with the flow, and he's like drinking in the audience reaction.
I'm looking at pictures of him. I mean, his eyes
very
very comfortably drinking in. That's like the main thing.
He's gonna be fourth gear of Michael Sherman too.
Michael Shermer?
Yeah.
He was thought to be an IG at one point.
Yeah, and I think it's Ziny at one point too.
Yeah, even that's true.
So, are we comfortable making a call on this sample of for Nijai?
I'm comfortable.
I feel
else there is to go with this. I mean, it's more like I feel like I'm seeing a lot of those cues, and I just don't see what else it even could be.
Okay.
Right.
I don't see Hulk Hogan, and I don't really see Milton Friedman, so I think Nijai.
Okay, so we're saying Nijai. No? What is he?
Nizai?
Oh, no, he's not a Nizai. He's shaking his head. Okay, what is he?
Well, let's think about this.
All right, well, let's think about it.
Okay,
before we ask, let's think about this.
Let's think about
Look
it.
at some more footage and see and with this context in mind, let's
exactly.
He's a shiny guy.
You gotta watch out.
Shiny.
Oh, that's why he looks so drunk.
Oh, wait, what? No.
Mr. Rogers.
Which mentality? But he's shiny?
Yeah, he's a shiny.
Okay, I can see that.
He's really calming, he's soothing, sleepy, he's tired. I heard 4 or
That's
5
like the one
things.
area we didn't really final, like...
He's saying all those things that are, like, it's a tower power. I'm hearing a tower power. I'm hearing a tower. You are. Wrong. It was actually...
So you're saying the mouth is coming before the eyes?
Discerner was kind of ruled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty early on.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, I didn't really consider it.
Okay.
I'm having trouble.
That's why we didn't actually think about that.
That's not ridiculous to me.
We were like, oh, he's not directive. He's not logically based. I mean...
Oh,
but how is the mouth coming out versus the eye?
You're tracking the active, you're tracking the knee, you're tracking the zhai, really pretty much everything except that you even thought, which means you thought possibly subjected.
Yeah.
So I believe it was the fact that it was like somehow in your mind it couldn't be a discerner. Well, in this case it was. So I want you to go back and look, and 2 things in particular. Pay attention to the heaviness of the voice. Actually 3 things. Heaviness in the voice, those eyes, very bright knee. He has very good knee, very good performer. But that is that sleepy quality, the tired quality, I think maybe Glenn was mentioning, that's the sleepy quality we mentioned that the towers have. So his eyes are having the zhai go into them. So very important to note that it's a ritual. Note that that is, I believe, zhai going into the knee eyes, but those are very active, strong knee eyes. And then I believe the hands, that's Franzi, not Gumby.
Wow.
Watch some more.
But did you guys? You were on the hunt. I can see you guys were on it. You were like, ah.
He even moves really slow too.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I had the good fortune of married for a time to a wonderful.
It's like a Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, that's what I got. Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
My daughter likes his stuff.
Would you be my neighbor?
Does these dogs not?
That was the whole inspiration to bring this in. My daughter.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Do you know her configuration?
Do I know her configuration?
Yeah.
I believe Nijai.
Okay.
But I think for children, you know, like Mr. Rogers and stuff like that, they like that calming, nurturing energy. A lot of kids gravitate to that.
Yeah. I think there may even be like a pattern with like children's show hosts.
Yeah. So show hosts very often, Shiny or Nijai, yeah.
You see those same Kimojo is really heavy in child education and like the giving away free services.
Child psychology, social services.
What, the ad-ROMs?
Yeah, the ad-ROMs.
Oh, definitely. And even like we were watching before, like the disciplining of children.
Yeah.
Like Super Nanny, and there was like some other shiny one.
Oh yeah. That's
They're almost all ad-ROMs.
Okay.
Kind of discipline stuff.
Interesting.
That was a good quasi-death.
But I'm still having trouble seeing how the mouth is coming out versus the eyes.
He does have those really.
He has good eyes.
Good knee.
That's why you guys have to pay attention to the. He's quick, and his eyes are bright. But even though he's quick, it's heavy. The voice is heavy. It's still heavy despite being quick, and the eyes, they're calming. They're bright with knee, but still overall they're very calming. You guys are very cool. You were right about that.
Yeah.
She can be.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And the 3-year-old is not an incomplete adult. This is the most whole 3-year-old.
Even a little bit of that.
That's tower tunnel.
Yeah.
That's warm tower tunnel.
Yeah.
Nice.
The voice is really heavy.
Back then I had long hair and liked to party. But the more I learned about the child, the more I learned about myself and the developmental pathways that took me to becoming the adult that I've become. And the more I learned about children, my audience, you,
Yeah, it's a
the
lot
more
of
I
shy.
practice the respect that I learned. I'll give you a couple of stories. Back in 1985, I was in California, and the concert had gone very well, and I was called back for an encore. So I'm walking back on stage, and a 3-year-old in the front calls out, "Why is he coming back?"
Some of you guys are good at that?
Yeah.
Well, everyone laughed.
There's also like this sort of like the towers, like they compared to the gatherers, and really I guess all perception ways, they're not as, even though they're yin, they're not as liquidy. Like they have this very, I don't even know how to describe it. Like they'll, like when they say something, almost maybe they need more of a reaction to it rather than sort of seeing where it goes. I don't know.
It could be.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like they sort of stop and wait.
What's the angle here?
Are you saying the lady Turner's liquidity?
No, he was saying that he's that the towers are less liquidy than gatherers.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, because they have the discernment, like they what I was saying is like the gatherers, they more like drink you in and see how you're reacting to something, whereas the towers, like they'll say something and then they kind of stop, like they ran into something, and they wait for reaction and then continue.
I think
or like blocking.
a good way.
Sometimes I don't think so much like they ran into something. That's a good analogy. I think they kind of like take root.
Yeah, like they take root.
Say what they're going to say, and then they return to their equilibrium.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think discernment leads mojo.
More calming and more steady.
Be more steady. That's kind of like where they're focusing on is keeping that calm, rather than on seeing where things are going.
Right, that's a good point. Yeah, I found his energy to be like on one side, it was more there, more palpable. It was warmer than a Nijai would be.
Right.
It also felt that he was choosing the emotional tone more.
Mm-hmm.
You mean like he chose emotional tone, he was basically radiating that throughout. And so that selection of tone was already in place.
Mm.
Whereas Nijai was more liquidy about choosing the Jai tone, or at least he can be.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's more shape-shifty, chameleon.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. He had a really good game, though. What was really cool about him is he actually kept the soothing quality. It felt very holistic. It felt very like this was a good thing he was doing. It felt good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But he was still real bouncy. Like he was bouncy and really good articulation, but it always still held that I don't know. You felt held.
Right.
I felt like a bolstering, kind of like emotional and also like goodness. Like I just felt like I was doing something around something good, which felt good.
Exactly.
But then within that, he was actually had really good quickness of knee and articulation as well. So good game. Who was that? Was that yours, Infinity?
Yes, it was.
Nice one.
That's his wife.
Thanks.
That his daughter actually really likes him. That's why.
I can see why.
That was the motivation.
Good. There you go. Shiny. So, Mr. Roger lives on. Who's next?
Have a read request from Mitchell, John Horton Conway, British mathematician.
Oh, we're getting to some of these other ones. That was one of my older ones. I actually just had a bunch of new ones.
Going back to the past.
Back to the old school.
Back to the old school.
Yeah, but I think we fun if we, as much as possible. We'll do these live reads. We'll do them on your guys' requests. That should make it extra exciting.
Yeah, I just had 9 more.
Here we go. Here's the link, Mitchell. I mean, Glenn.
Yeah. Awesome.
So this is the first for the film.
So he's unsure.
I wonder if the video games or the videos I gave were good ones.
Well,
I know they were long. Did Coach already read him? He's still reading now.
A few other interviews for him. All right, I just picked a few off of YouTube.
Does this get closer?
Good. I think it does. Yeah.
I know the ones that might be closer.
They actually think not of the symmetry of the crystal very much. They used to think of the symmetry of the crystal as a physical object here. But you imagine
the time to start
continuing, you know.
I'm sorry, say that again, Glenn?
Oh, what's a good time to start?
We're at 7 minutes 39 seconds right now.
I feel like I'm seeing spider hands right now.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Those aren't spider? Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'm
Well,
kind of
they could be, but let's.
All I'm saying is I don't actually feel like I see evidence of spider just yet.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I think it's good to just let yourself drink it all in.
Particular record of the atoms involved and so on. And you imagine...
Definitely a lot of tower something in his voice.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the one thing that does jump out seems like it's subjective, perhaps, because
Yeah.
because
leaning back.
of refrainment.
Yeah.
But other than that, and he is using some sort of tower power heavily to
In some way, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think I don't know, I'm just going to speak about Ziny in general, but I feel like they kind of lay back in their chair and they kind of fiddle around with their fingers. They kind of do this kind of thing. I think that's...
a lot of times, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
we do pitch it.
you do. Yeah.
I think Naiji do that too, though.
Yeah.
It'll look different though,
ways.
because
It'll look different, yes, but I mean, with what Glenn described.
You're right.
Right, Ben.
I can do that.
No, yeah, definitely. But I'm glad you.
I do very fitted to.
Kind of make the distinction between the two.
And then there's an infinite symmetry group. The symmetry group of all the translations, and rotations, and
See his
reflections.
hands doing this rounded
fix
finger.
that.
Yeah.
Historically, the finite symmetry groups were enumerated first,
Aren't towers the ones
and
more like rounded as
then roughly
Oh,
in
you mean this?
1890,
Yeah, this. Not
the
sure.
possible
I
groups,
feel like I'm seeing G.
infinite kind I just mentioned.
I think I'm seeing G and Xi.
There are
Dichotomy.
Yeah.
100 of them. They were enumerated by 3 teams. Fedorov, the great Russian, I say teams, 2 of the teams.
Yeah, that looks like she.
Yeah.
I agree.
All the terms contain teams
Oh, look
containing
at
one number.
that
Wasn't
hand thing was
Fedorov, the great Russian crystallographer.
He bends his fingers back a lot.
Yeah.
But then
Not that I mean, I imagine you can do that, but
his work didn't reach the West, so to speak. I'll
you
tell you.
don't tend to.
Yeah.
You don't tend to do that spontaneously.
Sure. Yeah, like
German,
if it's not like some sort of nigh with
whose
extreme
notation
with
is
a lot of
generally
stuff.
adopted nowadays. And less well known, but equally interesting,
A very
Peter
calming
Barlow,
voice.
an English crystallographer,
Like
and the author of the
slow
different mathematical
cadence.
tables that are still in use
Seems like so.
Yeah.
as well. They enumerated these things. They each made a few mistakes.
But it has that
So it seems to be a rule that if you
rounded,
enumerate
buttery
at least
voice of
100
G.
things, you know,
Yeah.
Yes.
up to something like
And his
this,
emoting does seem like it's more for the audience. Like
in
it now.
twice or something.
Yeah.
They did it all at about the same time, 1890,
I don't get like Jai delight.
2 years from then.
No.
So I could be.
They could meet each other and the inconsistencies were ironed out of the situation.
His voice definitely feels very monotone.
It's a staple of physics.
Yeah, it's
chemistry.
definitely
That's true.
by tower power.
So-
Now whether that's momentum or modulation, I don't think
Yeah.
Yeah.
yet. Let's maybe watch another interview because
Yeah, we
that's
can definitely.
not like
Okay.
on. So I got another interview link where he is looking more into the camera. I think that might help us.
Yeah.
I think another
Another
thing I want
composer one that I know that a video that I've watched of
Yeah.
that I could pull up if you guys need them.
You're saying, yeah.
I think another thing to notice about this video is that he kind of moves around in his chair a little bit, didn't he? Kind of swayed back and forth.
Yeah.
I think that's like animation right there, a little bit of animation use. It wasn't like extreme, but
Yeah, very.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's definitely true.
Okay, this
My
one
name is
looks
Roberto
like it's
Cruz.
gonna have more front.
You know, whether
Okay.
it's a game or
There we go. This one's like really close. And
Yeah, this is a good one.
I think I'm seeing a head tilt, a Xi head tilt. Yeah, so.
Well, let's wait until we get a little more into the video, I think. I mean,
But-
I
Oops.
I call it
Wait, what? Oh no. I'm stuck on this ad. blocking the video.
Oh, that sucks.
I hate
had
I can't even skip it. Like I'm clicking on to skip it and it won't work.
Oh man.
You guys got to get an ad blocking kind of program, an add-on.
Yeah.
A whole series of interesting things about
Word.
machines.
Yeah, word.
In particular, John von Neumann had been interested in basically human kind of
Here we go.
By the way, you've also got to equip your planet with an
Okay. Well, I can't even watch it then.
idea. It smells.
You can't watch it, Mitchell?
Let's make of that.
Maybe you could try using the link.
I'm going to.
No, and get out. And then, they're quite clever machines. They start using this iron ore to build new machines, whose job is to smelt more iron
Yeah,
ore.
my computer's just.
Not what we're doing now, but lost.
I mean, we're talking about like localized
So when you
sheep, for
separate
example.
it into the,
I don't know
you
what I've
get
seen
oxygen
yet,
out of it.
but
And
that would
so
be one
now
thing
you
to
can build
consider
an atmosphere
if
containing
we're trying
oxygen.
to distinguish between maybe
the whole of
IG or
Mars
Cyanide.
in such an atmosphere, but maybe you have some kind of shell or dome, and in that dome you have an atmosphere. And then after a considerable time, when these machines have all been chugging away and making more machines and so on, and smelting more iron and producing more oxygen, you send the guys over, us, Then he realized that you have to have a machine capable of building a copy of itself.
That's right head tilt on the side.
Maybe in order to build a machine,
I'm not even watching, so I can't see anything. But I'm just noting something is that you guys seem to definitely be between Naiji and Zaini. I don't hear any other mojos being discussed. So does that seem like?
Oh, we should. I was thinking. I don't know.
I don't know if you guys noticed.
We could kind of go through the energy fields like we were before, like so we can. I guess maybe that'll help us consider more possibilities. I just,
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just. You might be absolutely right.
I mean that is really like a common that's very common for mathematicians to be those two mojos. But of course, I mean we need to consider other possibilities because there are other possibilities.
Right.
So I mean,
there's a lot of Nizai.
Yeah.
There's Nizai. Yeah, that's a good example.
Nizai, right.
But just
a lot of them have a lot of Vi.
But just to point it out, like the reason why we went to those two was not because he was a mathematician. We were.
No, I know. It was because we were seeing subjective.
We were seeing.
Yeah.
We were
so
seeing.
Exactly. I was just establishing that.
So.
Where you guys
actually, that was part of why I personally saw it.
I can see the video now, by the way.
But I mean.
I can see the video.
Good.
So I mean.
Did you hear me?
No, sorry.
Oh, I said I can see the video now.
Okay, good.
The 3-minute ad that I couldn't stop and couldn't even turn the volume off on ended.
Ad from hell. Like the whole
you guys,
Philadelphia. What's that, Glenn?
Do you guys notice how he keeps turning his head to the left? Like he just keeps looking to his left a lot.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if that.
Looking up there, definitely.
He's actually like at 2 minutes 20. He actually, if you freeze right there, he's doing he's looking to the left. It kind of looks drifty to me though, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it just like I was looking at it right now. It looks a little far away. I don't know what that means, but
right.
And then he looks straight at the camera and then he widens his eyes real good. And then I don't know if that kind of looks a bit. I don't know. I don't want to say, but it kind of looks a bit. I mean, you have to see it there. I mean,
yeah.
It looks really like animated.
Interesting.
Did you say his eyes look really animated, like his eyes specifically, or are we talking more than that?
Yeah, he opens his eyes really wide, and he looks straight at the camera, so it just has that kind of a look to it.
Does it have a natural look? You mean a natural state animation, or like a?
I don't want to say anything like that. I just want to point out that that's kind of like an interesting kind of thing that I saw.
Yeah.
So, it's up to you to decide like whether for yourself if you think that's momentum or modulation.
Yeah.
even more complicated machines. But
Yeah, I
my
saw what
mind
you were
thought
saying
that
because he
really
just
does
did that.
sound
But when he said you need an even more complicated machine, and when he did that, because he was
Yeah.
way, and he
really,
came in and
I
he
don't know
widened
how
his
to use
eyes
the
when
word,
he said
but
that.
He was definitely emphasizing right there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
RNA and DNA.
What about the emoting? Like, as far as not, we think it's G, but how far it's going up its face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We need to see
Like,
that.
one thing I'm definitely noticing is just literally like the lines on his face. He has this like sharp line right here.
Yeah.
Right by his nose.
But he also has stark lines here right underneath his eye, like in the...
That's true.
Yes.
He's very deep set, very deep set.
Deep set right here, this whole area.
That's a very good point.
And right now, you guys see the freeze frame at 2 minutes 43. Again, he's looking away and
Yes.
left. And I don't... Yeah, it looks far away.
It does. It does. It doesn't seem like checky. You know, like when I watch like a Demas, like we're doing his Empire of Enlightenment videos, like he's sort of like checking like a fact. For him, it's like more like he's like maybe envisioning something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know.
Could be wrong.
I'm also noticing with his eyes, he has those really deep wrinkles in his eyes that kind of bring out his bags in his eyes, and that might just be due to old age.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is. I think it might be accentuating like a weariness.
Yeah. And
weary.
Weary is another thing kind of associated with Nye. At least.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it's Vi. Vi kind of, even with like Jaime, for example, the Vi, that position, it kind of gives them a kind of a look in their eye that kind of seems a bit intense in a very sort of pinpointed kind of way. With Naiji, their Nye is more just drifty, and it's more sage-like, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, completely.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards Naiji as a Mojo because of the way he seems like that.
Yeah.
He kind of comes off that way, but the Zai is really strong, and the Zai is what really makes it difficult to read Naiji.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I noticed. Go ahead.
You know, I mean, if he is a Naiji, he's going to have a lot of Zai. I mean, you know, and yeah.
This particular.
So
another thing I noticed with the way he speaks, I don't know if this is something that you guys noticed as well, but it seems bardic. It seems like it has that bardic kind of quality to it. The way it's not like crazy like Game of Thrones, you know, George R. Martin kind of thing, where it's like and they sailed through the wind, and you know, it's not like that, but it does kind of have like a little bit of a taste of that in it.
Like a narrator.
Like a narrator.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like the storytelling mode. Like the speaking. Okay.
It has like this sort of like kind of.
Sort of like Gandalf, and I smote his body upon the ruin.
You've got some RNA
Some more up here.
and they can
He has a right head tilt here while discussing.
A copy of you. I call that the tape.
It's like
you know, so you have a machine and you put a tape in it, and it builds a copy of whatever machine
it seems like
is specified.
one thing I'm
by that
noticing
tape.
also, I don't know if you guys notice this, like when he speaks, even when he has a right head tilt, he sort of just like spits out the words, like I don't know, like almost percussive way of the voice coming out.
It's got like a very strong impact to it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To do that, and it's very easy to do that in a way, you can now feed it with a copy.
All right, so like I can kind of see you guys are closing in on Naiji. I'm going to let you know that I believe it to be a Nizai.
Interesting.
Whoa!
Okay.
I was worried about that because early on I knew we were closing in on those.
I want to comment that Ben, your thing to restart and open up more options was good.
Yeah.
Mitchell, you said something good along those lines as well. Glenn, you noted animation twice, and you noticed the perking up and said it was important when he perked up and looked at the camera. You were right there as well. So you guys were on it. So it's important to know, like, I'm training you guys, like, you were there. There were parts where you were actually on that trail, but then other sense got you off, but you did.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
Yeah, I have to like.
You know what? I think he has a lot of vi.
Yes, he does. He has a lot of vi and
Tons of vi.
Yes.
Like all these like need eye they tend to.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of hunter.
Mitchell, I think it was about the crease point. You made a good comment about the crease point on the cheeks.
Yeah, cheeks. Very, very accentuated.
Yes.
So there was definitely some tags there. So you were touching it. You were touching. This is good this week. This way, I want to kind of jump on what's hot, my spirits say, because this will let you know these like voices in your head, this like group think tank, and these are the same kind of voices that people are going to hear in their individual head. And now I'm trying to jump and let you know which one of those voices you were hearing were actually the stronger ones. Because they didn't win out when it came to coming to the forefront of your assessment, but you were on them. And so those voices did come up, they did give you correct leads, but you didn't tag that. So now this is a great time to kind of hone in on that. So the animation was good and things like that, and I like the discussion, I want you guys to remember the discussion you were having when the animation, the eye perk-ups, the cheek crease, the restarting the dichotomies, that dialogue. That dialogue is critical. You're basically deciding how to approach the case. That's a really big deal. Because
another thing, like I'm trying to remember.
Like a little bit of a crossroads, and then you looked at a couple things, and then started heading down this Naiji trail. But there was a period. Do you guys remember this? There was a period in this thing. I was here with you just now, where Naiji, Zaini, and Nizai were all on the table. It was brief, and I don't think it was ever really spoken except maybe once. I think, and it wasn't even like all at once. One person said Naiji and Zaini. I think Mitchell said, "Oh yeah, Nizai too." For that brief moment in time, you guys were actually tracking the three leads in this case.
Right.
Remember that moment. That's a moment you want to get quicker and bigger and hold it longer.
And you know what I think, Coach, too? I mean, like, we have a tendency to want to speak, and we're not giving it away, like, exactly, like, oh, that's me. But we kind of say, like, well, his energy kind of seems a bit buoyant. You know, I think
a good way to do it.
I think we need to avoid doing that. I think what we need to do more is like what I did with the animation. Just point out, like, there was something that happened.
I would have highlighted, Glenn, the way you did that. Please go ahead. That was excellent. The way you introduced that was good.
Yeah. I wanted to say too that I appreciate the way that you're saying what you're seeing in a neutral way, where you're not putting any labels. You're just saying, this is what it is. So whatever that means, that's
I
happening.
think I'm saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really noticing that with a lot of the earlier reads that you guys are doing. You guys kept doing that. I kind of got like, well, I don't want to say one thing or the other, because I kind of got thrown off by that guy that was a Jaini, because you guys presented the idea that, oh, that looks like Ni Alpha. So like I wanted to kind of shake you guys up a little bit by presenting that idea, and I could tell you guys like, well, is that momentum or is that modulation? I was like, no. I'm just gonna say that that's what I saw, and you guys can take that however you want to, and I think we need to do more of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of we have a good point in this case.
And I don't think we need to be. I'm starting to think like it doesn't really make sense for us to be like not necessarily like on the same level of like how deep we are in the read. Like for example, if you want to say like you think it's looking like Naiji or look like Nizai, whatever. When other people are saying that they're still going through the dichotomies, I think that should also be fine. Because really, I mean, it depends very personally, to the individual, how that spirit forming is actually going to work out.
I think as long as it's kept where everyone's still giving it as like we're theorizing.
Yeah. You're not necessarily like directing the conversation that way, but you're saying what you're seeing, based on how the spirit forming is going for you.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question in my own experience, because I initially stated very early on I saw spider hands.
Nizai has something similar to that.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have
right. And so I think it's okay. And Johnny coaches actually came back with they're not sure yet.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just because of comfort. I think another thing too is if we get more comfortable working on these cases together, we'll get more comfortable kind of saying where we at. But then I know, for example, like when Jailene or Demas says something, because they have a lot of experience, that does actually weigh on the group, and so people don't necessarily want to counter that. So that's something we have to deal with this because we're used to actually read the three of us together. So this is kind of how we tend to read. But now we're reading with like a larger group, and I think it's actually helpful to kind of show like an expanded way. Also, when we talk to people who may have never trained with us before, they may be very good, but they actually never kind of talk with us. You want to kind of like show, I think I see stuff, but I don't want to push on them too hard or necessarily overextend myself. So that's something else too to consider is trying to get to where you can be insightful, but don't necessarily put yourself into a position that you can't move easily. Because sometimes you do have to kind of move them around quite a bit through a few positions. But like I said, like I did with that one, I thought the right answer, then I went all the way to China and back before I actually realized that the answer was the right answer. So that just happens. But this is really good. I think actually we're getting like as a team working cases, we're getting actually kind of like our lingo down, like how we do it. Because you guys are all making very good observations, and so I think actually just sort of learning how we put things up on a canvassing board, like they do like detective teams. They all kind of bring in things that they think they're seeing. You put it up there, and then it kind of just unfurls, but no decisions are made yet. But like I said, you can have specific theories all the way down to, like, say, that looks kind of IG. In the case of you, Infiniti, if you say, those hands look kind of spidery to me, I don't think that's wrong to say, as long as you
I agree.
phrase it as, I think that looked like, sort of like that. That leaves it very open. It's very important that the rest of the team, and in your head, the rest of your spirits, they feel comfortable with listening to that and using it, but also challenging it. And
right.
So remember that when you phrase it, that it's cool to put anything forward as long as you make it easily challengeable. You want all your theories to be easily challengeable until you get to what you think is a conclusion. They should always re-challenge that as well. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
Like when you see things, you do have to go like a hound. You're like, is this? And you start scurrying down different trails and you get excited. So actually going down trails and getting like excited about it, that's actually really important to the hunt, the chase.
Right.
So you want to have that, but then allow that you can like change directions real quick and you wear like, that doesn't mean that I'm losing it. Changing directions radically, I think it's a critical one. Often for me, changing directions radically sometimes I find comes up quite a bit in getting the right answer. So I always allow myself the option that it's something that I didn't see, that I wasn't considering. And a lot of times when I have that thought, I finally get clarity on a sample that was really giving me a lot of cloudiness. This is great, guys. This is really, really great. Guys and girls, everybody, it's a great job. All right. Let's watch maybe a minute or two of him now, knowing that he is in fact an objective, and those are Gumby claws. So he is doing Gumby claw. He's objective. He has the bardic delivery. He has a lot of good G. He's used to talking. A lot of Vi, and a lot of Vi used with Ni. He's very smooth that way, but he has a lot of gravitas. And then Zai as well, keep himself held. But he does fidget. As I think Glenn noticed, he has objective animation fidgeting. Not like so much nervous fidgeting, he's literally like fidgeting like Colbert does in his seat. And the hands are with, what else? Yeah, the knee perk-ups. The knee perk-ups.
Something we didn't mention too is also the way he talks. He doesn't do the kind of like stop and start thing a lot. He kind of just goes.
Yeah, he definitely is talking more. He reminds me a bit of Colbert in a way. Colbert, and you remind me of actually a little bit. He has, like this thing is that, what's that guy's name? He's on the Science Channel a lot. Alexis. Filipinko, yes. Yes.
Filipinko, yeah.
He buys a
Alex.
Who is it? What is his name? Is it Alex Filipinko?
I mean, something like that, yeah.
And he also has really good G.
Yeah. This guy has a lot more Vi than him.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, Alex Blood paint is a bit more funky.
Yeah, he's got a little more power going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it threw us off how long
Alex Filipinka.
he actually looked off into the distance a lot.
Yeah,
Stayed there for quite a bit.
These mathematician and also mathematician, economist, and astronomer. Nizai do show up in those fields, and when they do, they often have a substantial amount of volume. And Zai, obviously, but the vibe may be surprising. Cool, who's that?
Just another point on this guy. He also does a lot of brow furrow. I noticed.
And copy its own tape. So
A lot of what?
His brow is furrows quite a bit too.
Yeah, like in a kind of an examining something way with the vi.
Oh yeah.
And so I could see how you could easily look at that and think, oh, it's sort of hunter or directive-ish sort of worldview map energy.
Yeah, but it's delicate. It's not like he stays doing that for a very long amount of time. He just kind of like
right.
It's kind of like
right there.
It's very relaxed, but it's still there. That's the thing. It's kind of like a perma brow furrow, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, no, that does happen actually. Like Najee have a little bit of a perk. He does have it sort of like ingrained in the way his brow, like the way the wrinkles and stuff. It does seem like he would easily do that.
Along this machine, each square would predict what it did.
220.
Because
again, that animation.
For about 18 months of coffee times, and I'm not sure that I'm sure that we didn't use every coffee time.
He used to eat Perkos while doing by check. You see that?
The rules as they finally came out.
Eat Perks.
Exactly 3 lines. If you're empty, or dead, or whatever it is.
Who's next?
Next we have a request from Control Chaos for a blogger, Goss makeup artist.
Interesting. I've got another 30-second ad.
Something that I just sort
Okay,
of
so here we go.
started from a very young age, just the way that it could alter.
Sorry, here you go, Glenn.
Yeah.
So many of the images that you see nowadays on film, and particularly in magazines, they're retouched, they're airbrushed, they're retouched again. It's pure fantasy.
There we go.
Not even the models and the actresses actually look like this. So these magazines that are promoting these images that are supposed to create higher self-esteem are actually doing the complete opposite, because there's no way we can live up to these standards, because not even they do. It's just absolute insanity. I think with makeup, we kind of just believe what we're told, and we don't think twice or question the information that we're getting. We've always been told to apply blusher while smiling and apply it to the apple of the cheek. But this is a technique that's used in TV and theatre to age you. And most people don't know that, but this myth is still out there. We're not thinking about, well, maybe there is a different way, maybe there's a better way. And this is what I'm about, is breaking down the myths that surround makeup and makeup application and try and make it more realistic so that you can get the best information available. It seems that every day, every week, a cosmetic company is churning out another product they're claiming to cure acne, to erase wrinkles. But if any of these products worked, we wouldn't have acne and we certainly wouldn't have wrinkles. It's just, again, it's myths that we really need to address, because there are so many good products out there that you could use, but we need to be realistic about what they can actually achieve. My whole approach to makeup is to keep it simple, because it isn't rocket science. With so much information out there now, the one thing that's missing is the explaining and the teaching of makeup. You know, it's fine to watch something, but what you need is to know why you're doing that specific technique. If somebody's applying blusher, for example, will that suit your face shape? Will that suit your style of life? And I just really want to break down all the myths that are surrounding makeup, because they're overwhelming.
Okay, that's the first one. Second.
Jarlene, could you send me the link first before you post it up on the...
Yeah. Here you
Yeah.
go. Got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, did everyone get bucked off? Or was that just me?
What's that?
What happened to you?
I went off the Hangout.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
Yeah, I saw you go off too.
It just ejected me. It
Oh,
there was
wow.
an error. Bye.
Today's just not your day, Mitchell.
No.
3 minutes
I
ad.
can't click on ads.
Today isn't my day either.
I can't. Literally, it has a skip ad button, and I click on it. It doesn't do anything.
Bizarre.
So hopefully this next one will be better.
Probably not. But...
Probably.
Hi, meet Dave. Dave is a busy guy and his time is important. But Dave has a problem.
Okay. Skip ad.
The group chat keeps...
Everyone, okay. So, wonderful things. When I was learning makeup, Way Bandy, Laura Mercier, those sort of books, very, very matte skin. Everything's matte skin, matte. And I grew up that way, and I thought it was the only way. I was wrong. It's not the only way, and here is a list of my top 5, it's actually 6, dewy, delicious, gorgeous, glowing foundations. Now, all of you who know of really wonderful glowing foundations that are part of the drugstore range, please leave them in the description bar below, because it helps. I don't carry drugstore ones with me. There are many good ones. Please leave them, share, don't forget, it's lovely. And why not rate? Why not rate with a thumb up? Naughty, naughty people. Hourglass Veil Foundation is dewy, it's beautiful, it's very full coverage, so be aware, but it's really, really lovely. It leaves a gorgeous surface, and because it's full coverage, it covers such a lot of skin and skin problems, so you can get a dewy effect without it accentuating any ugliness on the skin that we don't like. Holy Grail of foundations, the only one that I think is the best out of every single one I've ever tried is Alice Fast Skin Foundation. It's love at first pump. Sounded a tad rude, but you know what I mean, no matter what way you look at it. It's so good. It is the best foundation I've ever used. It's dewy. Oh.
What is it, Jew?
Dewy.
I feel slightly bad.
Okay.
It's not good. Chanticleer Future Skin is a really good foundation. It's lightweight, it's light to medium coverage, it's buildable. It is a pot of dewy goodness that looks like skin. If you have relatively good skin that doesn't require huge amounts of covering, this is a wonderful, wonderful foundation to try. It's expensive but delicious. YSL Yves Saint Laurent, which is Le Teint Touche Éclat. I'm impressed with my own French, even though I'm not, even though I actually passed it in school, but there you go, whatever. So, very good foundation. Doesn't contain huge amounts of talc or all these other things that can piss people off or become mattifying. Really lovely foundation. Dewy, has an odd smell to it, which I don't care for, but doesn't irritate, but I don't care for it. Really, really good. Really gorgeous, gorgeous skin finish. Those of you with dry skin, just don't even powder it, maybe a bit here. That's it, just walk out the door and be happy. Gorgeous. Charlotte Tilbury's Light Wonder Foundation. Another dewy foundation that has it's a very, 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 it's a light to medium coverage that feels very, very lightweight, and you just do this and it becomes the skin. It's why she's so impressed with it and why I'm so impressed with it. It's a wonderful foundation. So you should really check it out if you want to look for dewy skin. And lastly is Makeup Forever, which is Liquid Lift Foundation, which gets no press. And it's probably the dewiest of all of these foundations. Dry skin, you're going to love it. It is like an oil treatment for the face. It is moisturizing. It is just gorgeous, gorgeous skin in a bottle. These are my top 6 dewy foundations. There's actually one more. It's really expensive. It's really, really expensive. I'm just going to get it. Excuse me a second. What that noise was then? Who knows? By Terry, which is their serum foundation, is a very, very good, very kind of dewy-ish foundation. It's wonderful, much more suited to those of you with more mature skin. Very, very good, very, very gorgeous. Don't forget to pair them with a wonderfully emollient moisturizer to really get the full effect of these kind of dewy foundations. Let me know what your favorite ones are. Don't forget to do that rate thing that I mentioned, because, you know, it's just nice.
I think one thing we can all agree on is that he's really into what he's talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure, for sure.
He's really like he's in love with the products that he's talking about, and he like has no like personal thing against like, oh, this is like really, really good, and it's like this is like, you know, I'm really noticing that a lot.
Okay, let's put another one on.
Yeah, please. Boyfriend.
There you go, Glenn.
That's awesome.
Advanced genomic testing, now offered by Cancer Treatment Centers of America, profiles the genomic makeup.
Genova.
Everyone, okay, so today is my third round with using IPL. And I go to a clinic in Cardiff called Sea-Light Clinic. And IPL is intense pulse light, and it can be used for a variety of different things. It can be used for hair removal, which is what it's primarily used for. And it's also used for treating thread veins, broken capillaries, all of that kind of stuff, which is what I've been having it done. Now, I've had my third session. After the session, some people react like nothing's happened. I react with very, very red skin, very red, and the treatment itself is what I would call very, very painful. It's like having an elastic band slapped on your skin. It really hurts. It really, really hurts. But this is my face at the moment. Broken veins all across the nose, really badly across the nose, and underneath the eyes, and a tiny little, what I call heat spots here above my eyebrows. So this is my third session, which I've had for the past every 3 weeks.
What do you guys think that means? Like how he says things in this really emphatic way all the time. It's like that hitting the point like a bunch of times thing. It's kind of like that woman that we read as an IG, like she would say it over and over.
Yeah, I agree. I'm getting that too.
So I'm not saying he's an IG. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm getting.
Clarifying that. Just in case
agreeing with what I'm getting from. Yeah.
But that's something he said that. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't put a label on it, but
I'm also getting what you're saying. Not that I'm saying he's what you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think you guys are worried.
I think we're on the same page.
Firstly, there is nothing on my face. Nothing. There is like a couple of veins left
very nice skin.
on my nose, but most of them.
But I don't think that has to do with mojo.
He's got an interesting little hairstyle too.
And then go
He
back.
does.
To come back, because they do tend to come back very quickly on me, which is why I'm going for a course of 5. Each session for men, because they don't do this area because we want to keep our beards, costs £150 each session. For women, if you're going to do an entire face for like hair removal, it's obviously more expensive, but I was just treating the veins. Now, this is what's really cool about having it, I think, because it's such a cool thing, is that when you have
interesting about his eyes,
an immediate effect.
I've been noticing it from the moment I first saw him.
What about him? His eyes just jump out?
I don't know. Did I see him?
Yeah, let's keep watching.
But there is a residue swelling because the skin is traumatized because it hurts.
I wonder if I'm a little bit seeing unaware mouth, but I'm not clear on that.
What'd you say, Mike?
I'm wondering if I'm seeing a bit of unaware mouth.
I got you.
focusing more on the lower lip, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm
Not
leaning
clear.
towards 2 mojos, but I'm not going to say anything about because it's not really rooted. It was just sort of like how he hit me at first, and so I'm going through and kind of trying to
Yeah, definitely.
falsifying it.
Yeah.
But he is hitting me a certain way.
I would probably agree with you on that, Infinity, because I think I'm noticing with the way he speaks, it sounds like cool articulation to me. And the way he keeps bringing up the various different topics and the various different products, it seems like it's in that kind of a, like, presenting like these are like the various tools that I've seen, and these ones work really, really good, and the Jai will kind of resonate with the ones that he really likes.
Yeah, it's like he's making a list and then checking it twice.
I thought exactly that. That was exactly it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm leaning a little bit more towards that personally.
And Kay, who does it, she holds my hand. She's very nice. But what happens is after you've had it done, there is a residue swelling. They're swelling. They're swelling. And because they sort of go here, what it does is it causes the skin to swell and puff out, which means that your under eye bags temporarily vanish or look absolutely reduced. So if I could walk around quite happy with a bit of swelling under my eyes, because normally there's a really, really deep bag there, but the swelling causes it to go. So perhaps I'll just slap myself with elastic bands every day just to cause it to swell. Who can say? But I wanted to show you the results because I know a lot of people suffer from broken capillaries, and it's made a massive difference to how my complexion looks. I still put SPF on and mineral foundation, but I just really don't need any anymore because my skin is even, and it's really great to feel that way. So let me know if you've had experiences with IPL with regards to treating thread veins or even with laser hair removal. I'm talking the ones though that you don't do at home, I'm talking the ones you get done at a dermatologist's office. Let me know. Okay, I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Okay. Those were the only ones that I had pulled as far as the new links, because I only pulled 3, but he has several blogs. So let me grab something else from him.
Was there anything else in the interview format?
No. I think when we get into bloggers, we'll be dealing with this a lot, where they're doing their blog, so we're reading off of that mainly.
Sometimes bloggers interview each other. That helps.
Yeah, I think that first one was maybe. I think that was the case.
Yeah.
The link that you sent me, Jailene, it was a part of a playlist. So I'm watching this other video now. It's like a 10-minute one, reverse contouring made easy.
Can you send me the link to that?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wish we could get something where you can see its hands better. It's in its hands just really intermittently, and usually just the tip of his fingers.
Hey everyone, okay, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to reverse contour. There are many reasons to use reverse contouring, but and you know my thing is contouring. It's one thing I'm really good at. The rest, who can say? But contouring, I know my thing. The interesting thing with reverse contouring is that it's best, it works on everybody, but it's amazing if you have redness in your skin that you're trying to cover. Sometimes when I'm with clients, I will use a foundation that is 1 or 2 shades darker than their skin tone. They have a lot of redness in the face because, say you are NC20 in MAC foundation, you've got a lot of redness. You know, going up to an NC25 can cover that so much easier than your own skin tone, because when there's a lot of red, it can just suddenly look a little bit pale and pasty, regardless of what your skin color is. So deepening the foundation is a good thing. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. So I'm just applying a little bit of a moisturizer. It's actually a primer, but it's just one I have on hand. And this is the Tom Ford Protective Base, which is lovely and dewy. So I'm going to show you two different ways. I'm going to show you with cream, and I'm going to show you with liquids, because the chances are you're using one of those. So let's just get this all over my bloody skin, and then we can make a start. So I'll start with creams. So I'm going to use my mud palette. Why not? And this is my mud palette. Now I'm going to be using this shade here, which is too light for my skin, and this shade here, which is a little bit too dark. And I'm just going to...
You're getting the chance to see his hands.
So I'm actually going to apply the light shade. You would apply the light shade underneath the cheekbones, where you would contour normally. So I'll apply it here. That's underneath the cheekbone. And then I'm just going to apply it on the outside corner as well. And just a tiny bit on the nose and a little bit in the center of the forehead. So that's where I would put the lightest color. Now, the darkest color I would put on the actual cheekbones entirely, right here. Because this tends to be where all the redness is. And the nose, all the way down that area. And again, when you get red, you know, it's mainly the cheeks that get red and the nose, so all of those areas are kind of covered. Then you just take a damp, I'm doing this completely blind, just the monitor here. Then you take a beauty blender sponge that's damp, and you kind of blend all those areas in there. Just start with the light area first to just do the bouncing motion. Don't worry if it's not completely blended in, because you'll go over it all in a second. So you're just stippling them in, and then just blend the entire thing all into one. So all of those shades marry themselves up together. Just bounce it all over the face. I go over the eyelid, you don't have to, whatever you want. But you're just blending it in. This darker color on the cheekbone area will really, really help in kind of evening out your skin tone. And if you think you need a little bit more, how red that side.
My laptop battery is about to die, so do you think we could wrap this up pretty quickly?
Yeah,
it's about 10:40, so I mean.
I like it. That's a
good idea.
Okay, so where are you guys at?
I have a guess on him, although I'm not sure if like you guys agree with it.
I have a guess.
I'm leaning towards Naiji with him.
I was leaning towards, yeah, I don't know. I was leaning towards Nijai.
I'm going to guess Nijai.
I'm leaning Nijai.
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable saying what my answer is.
Okay. Mitchell?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm kind of same as Glenn. I'm kind of.
It's okay if you don't, but do you have an alchemy, perhaps?
I think I'm going towards not a hunter. I'm going for a gatherer. The jazz gatherer.
I mean, honestly, I probably am leaning towards Nijai, but I'm not really sure on that at all.
I'm interested.
I'll go with Nijai. I'm pretty confident he's Nijai, so I'm leaning towards Naiji.
I believe he is Nijai. Good job, team. So most of you got that, and Ben, you got Nijez, and Glenn, you got Jez Gather. So that was actually quite a tight grouping there.
Very
nice
good.
job. All right, that's a great thing to end on. Well done.
Yeah.
I liked how you guys were doing that. You were tracking everything there. It was good. Very, very good.
Excellent.
All right, we'll keep it up. We'll keep doing this. This is just something we need. All right, see you guys next time, and some of you I'll be seeing throughout the week in Temple. All right, see you then.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Guys.
Good night.
See you
Good
guys.
night.
Good night, everyone.